Real estate is the fastest path to freedom, but without fast funding, you're missing out on deals. Banks move too slow, hard money drains your cash, equity partners take half your profits, and if you don't have the funds when you need it, your growth comes to a dead stop. What if you didn't have to jump through hoops and could fund 100% of your next deal without banks, credit checks, or equity splits? That's exactly what I'm going to show you today. How to tap into a private lending system that grows your real estate portfolio and, more importantly, lets you start closing deals fast. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to get funding. When my business partner Eric first started investing in real estate, he was on site getting his hands dirty, literally. Fix and flips, rentals, negotiating deals, managing contractors. He lived it. He got to experience every win, every unexpected rehab cost, and every lender who overpromised and underdelivered. He saw firsthand what most investors struggle with: access to fast, reliable capital without all the red tape. So when he met me, we started Creative Cash Partners with our own personal savings account to help other investors. We're not a faceless lender with a generic approval process. We're a small team of real investors who understand what it's like to be in the trenches. We created a funding model designed for real-world investors, people who are grinding, scaling, and looking for speed without sacrificing profit. We've funded over 10 million and helped hundreds of investors across markets in North Carolina and West Virginia, especially in competitive areas where time kills deals. No monthly payments, no unnecessary hoops, just fast funding and real partnership, except you keep all of the equity for your deal. So why should you use Creative Cash Partners? Well, it's built for investors, not institutions. This means faster decisions, customized terms, and actual conversations, not just checklists and paperwork. Our goal is to create a seamless path to success for real estate investors, not to slow them down with paperwork processing or blindside them with hidden fees. No long applications, no appraisals, no underwriting delays. Just send the deal and get an answer fast. And when it comes to Creative Cash Partners, what you see is what you pay. Just one flat fee, due when the deal closes or when it gets refinanced. We want to make it easy from the start. 100% funding for rehab and purchase costs without making you fork up a down payment. We also know that as an investor, what you need is cash flow. So we found a way to help fund your deals without tying up your money in monthly interest payments so that you can focus on finding more deals. We don't have any credit score requirements. We just check for the scary stuff like bankruptcy or collection, because we know that the deal matters more than your FICO score. So if the numbers make sense, you get funded. And there's no prepayment penalty. If you finish the project early, you can just pay us back early without getting punished for it. Instead, we give you a prepayment discount. The faster the money comes back to us, the lower the interest rate is for you. And the best part, when you find a deal, you don't have to go out and network with wealthy people, make cold pitches, and convince someone that barely knows you to give you money. How is a Creative Cash Partner different from other kinds of lenders? Well, here's the problem with traditional bank loans. They have strict qualification requirements that make it difficult for investors to get funded, including restrictions on property type, location, and occupancy requirements that limit investment flexibility. Along with that comes the extensive paperwork like tax return, credit reports, debt-to-income ratios, and employment history, which all slow down the approval process. Sometimes the underwriting and approval process takes weeks or even months, causing you to miss out on time-sensitive deals. And to top it all off, many banks will not lend to newer investors or investors with less than perfect credit score, making it even more difficult for you to find funding. But if you do get approved, you have to put down a large down payment, sometimes 20% or more, which forces you to tie up large amounts of cash in every deal that you do. And they require monthly mortgage payments that tie up even more of your cash flow, especially for fix and flippers who don't have rental income coming in during renovation. And the worst part, traditional lenders can change the loan terms or deny funding at the last minute. The problem with hard money lenders is that they're not as flexible as they seem. They still follow institutional processes, including a full application, appraisals, and underwriting delays, which we already know makes a slow funding process. Even though it's labeled as fast, it can still take 2 to 3 weeks to close, which is not ideal if you need to move quickly on a deal. And you still have to bring cash to the table if you want to do a deal. Most hard money lenders only fund 80 to 90% of the purchase price, meaning that you cover the rest up front, plus any holding or closing costs. Then monthly interest payments start immediately, and you have to start making those monthly payments from day one, even if your flip is delayed or the house hasn't sold, which adds pressure and ties up your cash flow, just like traditional lenders. They also have strict loan qualifications, including credit checks, verifying your income through tax documents, and require that you have experience, which means that first-time investors probably won't qualify qualify for even a simple deal. Then there's equity partners who take up the largest share of your profits while you're doing all the work. Equity partners usually take 30 to 50% of ownership in your deals, even if they only bring the funding. So you take on all the risk and they still get paid even if things go wrong. You may not have to do monthly payments, but you get permanent loss of equity. And it may feel easier upfront without monthly interest payments, but in the end, you're giving up on long-term wealth for short-term convenience, limiting your ability to scale fast. The more deals you do with equity partners, the more you split, which makes it hard to reinvest and grow your business. This can cause tension and control issues too. Your equity partner may want a say in your decisions, timelines, or even who you hire. You could lose authority over your own project. And once you've made the decision to commit to splitting equity, there's no easy way back out. You're locked into the deal regardless of how the partnership changes. And I like to think of a business partnership as a marriage. It's a long-term commitment. Make sure you choose someone you trust and can see yourself working with for the next 10 years. Lastly, there's private money lenders. And the problem with private money lenders is that they can't help you scale. They're just people who happen to have an extra 100K or 300K to invest. And once that money's tied up in a deal, you're back to square one trying to find someone else for your next project. So every deal feels like starting from scratch. There's no structure. It's purely relationship based. So if you're a new investor or haven't done many deals, private lenders are hesitant and may not trust you with their money. So you end up having to sell yourself just to get funding. And every private lender wants something different. Some private lenders might want a cut of your equity. Others might want a fixed return. Some want both. They can be inconsistent, unpredictable, and hard to plan around when you're working multiple deals. You're also left to figure things out on your own. They're not experts in real estate and they may not understand what it's like to invest in real estate, adding more stress to your plate as you're constantly reminding them of the timelines and reassuring them that their investment is safe. Working with private lenders can quickly become a bottleneck in your business as you're tasked with managing relationships and trying to figure out who's going to fund your next deal, killing your momentum and profit. How are we different? Well, we're not searching for capital. We are the capital. With Creative Cash Partners, you get fast funding, no lengthy applications or underwriting delays. You're not waiting on funding. We can move as fast as you can close. You can get 100% financing, and we cover 100% of purchase and 100% of rehab costs. And we can do repeatable deals. When you work with us, you'll never worry about funding again. We can fund multiple deals at once with the same investor. That means no more cold pitching investors getting rejected by banks or worrying about last-minute funding. We've funded well over $10 million, so when you work with me, you're plugging into a proven system, not starting from scratch. So as a Creative Cash partner who doesn't require a down payment, monthly interest payments, or equity, what do we get in return? Well, as investors, we need a safe place to put our money, and real estate offers higher returns than stock market, bonds, or savings and retirement accounts. Plus, it's completely passive income, no tenants, no headaches. But in order for us to find a deal, we need to know it's safe and can't be a risky deal with slim profit margins. We look for deals that are deep in profit. This means we are only willing to fund deals where the profit margin is wide enough to absorb delays, market shifts, or rehab surprises. We also build strong relationships with reliable borrowers who bring us good deals, follow through on their commitments, and provide a clear and safe path to profit. We use debt-based lending with one flat fee at closing, which is 10% for 3 months, 15% for 6 months, or 17% for 7 months. This means if you find a deal, let's say it's being sold for $100K and doesn't need much more work, maybe paint touch-ups and clean carpets, just the cosmetics, and you can easily sell it for $200K afterwards. You can apply to work with us, and if you're approved, we will lend you $100K. You buy the property, fix the cosmetics, and resell for $200K within 3 months. You would pay us back $100K with a flat fee that's 10%. You would pay us back then a total of $110,000 and pocket the remainder with no monthly payments and none of your own money up front. What you need to submit in order to work with us is HUDs, an experience spreadsheet which we can provide for you, a scope of work, comprehensive photos of the deal inside, outside, and all around the property. When you work with Creative Cash Partners, you're not just getting access to capital. You're getting a trusted cash partner who understands real estate, moves fast, and structures deals in a way that actually benefits you. Most lenders make you jump through hoops, lengthy applications, endless document requests, and unnecessary red tape. I cut through the noise with a straightforward investor-friendly process designed to get you funded quickly. You submit a quick funding application with basic details: your name, contact info, property details such as purchase price, estimated rehab costs, ARV, and comprehensive photos. No credit checks, no endless underwriting delays, waiting for an appraisal, just a direct conversation about your deal. If your deal fits my criteria, we move forward. If not, I'll give you direct feedback on why it's not a fit. Time is everything in real estate. You need a funding partner who moves as fast as you do. And when you can close as fast as a cash buyer, you'll always be 10 steps ahead of your competition. Most real estate investors have capital constraints, meaning they pass on great deals or settle for bad lending terms because they don't believe they have a better option. Crystal, it's great to have you with us today. Do you mind just starting us off with a little bit about your name and where you live and what you do for business?
Sure. So my name is Crystal. I'm West Virginia, and I've been in real estate investing since like 2017. Almost fell into my lap because, I've been doing permanent makeup, things of that sort. I've been a traveling makeup artist for years and years prior to this, and established a studio in permanent makeup where I live in southern West Virginia. But I had a neighbor of mine that ended up getting very sick, and I was always so fond of him. He was such a great guy. It just broke my heart to see him struggling like that. So he had this rundown old, the entire thing just needed a complete inside and out rehab, total. And I decided that I would offer to buy his place just to help him out. And that the numbers worked for that to be a first deal was insane. The largest challenges that I faced as a beginner investor in real estate was, how am I going to pay for this? So I ended up utilizing a credit and money partner, like a capital partner, but that person too also was very inexperienced. And so it just was a lot of lessons learned, and I'm very grateful for those. As the old saying goes, had I known then what I know now, I would have called you guys up immediately. When I tell you I was there 7 days a week for, 8, 10, 12 hours a day for months, I'm talking 4 to 5 months of my life that I'm never going to get back. It was necessary for me to be there to help them with whatever it was that they needed help with because of, me missing certain things in the scope of work.
Sure.
And
Sure.
me not having the ability to obtain the funding that was necessary to hire the workout. Ultimately, I was responsible for making sure that the deal was going to go through and it was going to be a successful deal. And because of that, I just buckled down and I had to spend my time. I couldn't go on vacation. I couldn't spend time with my family. I couldn't, go to dinners where some of my family was in from out of town. It makes a big deal. Now, I understand not everyone is willing to be that way or do things like that. But again, this was my first deal and it had to be successful no matter what.
Yeah, right.
And I'm just that type of person. So I'm not complaining about that. It was just most certainly a lesson learned.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I just think that was so preventable and avoidable.
You mentioned having to dip into personal funds, which is always a scary thing when you're like, dang, that was my personal savings. I had that allotted for things that I either need or things I'm saving for that I want to be able to do, maybe things for other people. How did that make you feel when you were in that situation and you're like, dang, I'm dipping into this personal money, my money?
Well, and, regardless of my feelings about it, if you're having to use your personal cards, especially, not only are you dipping into savings that were meant for something else, if you have to utilize more than 30% of your total, your total card limit, that is going to demolish your personal score, which guess what? If you don't have the personal score, you're not going to qualify for the refinance on the back end if you're doing a BRRRR. So that's just, it's a domino effect. That ruins quite literally every step of the process.
So what were some of the other challenges that you faced in your business before you started using our loan product? What were some of the key problems that others might relate to?
So I'm sure a lot of beginner investors run into the fact that It's not as easy as calling up your local DSCR lender, your local bank, and saying, hey, I have a property. I need to put $100,000 on this property so that I can renovate it. No one is going to hand you, as a new beginner investor, that kind of capital.
Yeah.
And if you decide to go the route of like, credit stacking, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but you basically utilizing business 0% credit cards.
Mhm.
So those are great until the payment is due. And once those add up, the holding costs become astronomical.
Right.
I ended up utilizing a private money lender that was sent to us for that specific deal. I mean, we were still paying out of pocket like almost $1,000 a month just for the payment while we were doing rehab. And so, it was a struggle to keep up with everything because you have deadlines, you've got things you need to get done, you've got people waiting on you to pay them. You can't close out a loan until you get the roof fixed. Everything is on a timeline. So one less thing to worry about that I was so grateful for you guys is that you do things differently in the regard that you all just have the grace period of here's your loan, you pay us on the back end. We don't make you pay payments every month. That is honestly one of the best things that I love about that.
What are some of the specific results you would say you've achieved since you started using our loan product versus some of the other strategies you had started out with?
Well, because I have that confidence in knowing that I'm not going to have any issues with the funding portion of it, which is like 90% of the problem most of the time. I've went from having one deal to looking at my 8th deal in less than 2 years. And just that alone, I mean, if you would have told me 5 years ago I'd be doing this kind of thing, I'd be like, there is no way. Like, I wouldn't have believed it. But because I'm able to network and work with people like you and companies like you that provide that kind of stability and structure, you guys also have a very professional point about you when we're doing the underwriting, and you point things out to me sometimes that I'm like, I never thought of it that way. It's so good to get different sets of eyes on your deal,
Right.
to be sure about it.
Well, this was awesome. Thank you for coming on and just sharing your experience, Crystal. It's always good talking with you, and
Yeah,
looking
same to
forward to
you.
seeing what all we do together over the next many years to come.
I'm so excited. Matter of fact, I need to bring you guys another deal that I've been looking at. So
Okay.
we will figure that out.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Fantastic. Well, thank you. So here's the reality. If you've got the hustle, the deal flow, and the drive to scale, the only thing standing in your way is reliable capital. And that's the bottleneck we remove. When you have a trusted cash partner in your corner, you stop worrying about how to find the funds for your deal and start focusing on doing more of them. And that's exactly what we do here at Creative Cash Partners. We fund real deals for real investors, 100% financing, no monthly payments, no equity splits, just fast capital and a repeatable system you can build your business on. If you're ready to stop chasing money and start closing deals, click the link below, apply now, and let's see if we're a good fit.